probably most of it. So, um, in no particular order. So, we talked about Eli White's oblique, so he won't be ready. I think we've already said that. Joely Rodriguez getting ready to throw off the mound here this afternoon, so that's a good milestone for him. He's feeling good and moving in the right direction. Won't be ready to be on the roster opening day, but I don't think he's going to be too far behind. Brett Martin, we are going to put on the IL. Nothing new there, just more of a administrative move. He's actually doing really, really well, and I'm hopeful that he'll be back in camp soon. But we'll be opening the year on the IL. I just don't think there will be enough time for him to get up to game speed safely. Then Rafael Montero is he's throwing another bullpen tomorrow. He's behind in large part for a good reason, because he had to stop his training and went home for the birth of a child. So he had missed a little bit of time when we opened up, and just getting kind of cranked back up after a 4 or 5 days down. He just needed a little more time. He's basically fine. I'm not really concerned about anything, but he's taking a little extra time to get ready. So we're going day by day. He's throwing a bullpen, I think, tomorrow, and then we'll get in to face some live hitters probably once or twice before opening day, but I don't think that'll be enough for us to feel comfortable activating him. So he will likely open, not open with us, but should be pretty close behind, possibly as early as that first week. Robbie Chirinos, good news. He feels better each day. Definitely was, worrisome to see happen, and was definitely concerned. I'm not certain if he'll be ready opening day, but I'm optimistic at this point. And I think with the off days, 3 off days before you play your sixth game. Considering the 23rd is an off day, so the schedule, I think, early on is fortunate for Robbie. But I'm hopeful he'll be on the opening day roster. We haven't made that decision yet. We're going to take it day by day and see how he goes. And then Willie Calhoun had an MRI. He's got a grade 1 strain of a small muscle in the hip flexor area, the name of which I didn't understand and I couldn't remember, so we'll call it the hip flexor. It's a really small muscle in there, and he's doing better. He's going to get treatment. Hopeful that he won't miss much time, but I think just given the calendar, there's a good chance he'll miss. He'll miss a little bit of time right at the beginning. I'm hopeful it won't be more than a few days or a week, but we want to be smart with this thing. It's not at a point where it's going to cause him to miss a long period of time, but it's one of those small muscles where if you don't give it enough time to heal, can put him at risk for a longer period. So that's obviously what we want to avoid. Any questions on the medical side before I go on?
JD, so I guess this is more procedural related to the medical side, but these guys that would go on the IL, how far can you backdate them?
I believe you can backdate to the 20th. For a normal injury, for COVID is treated differently, but for a what you would consider more of a typical baseball type injury is, I believe it's back to the 20th.
That would mean guys would be eligible July 31st to replace them on and backdate.
I've got it here. I'll tell you exactly. Hang on. Yeah, I think it's the 30th.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And all those guys, you I would assume you would backdate all those guys if you do go DL.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other injury questions? Jeff?
John, because of the scheduling, because rosters are expanded, would you consider carrying these guys, Calhoun and Trinos, not putting them on the IL if they're going to be that close?
Yeah, it'll definitely that'll factor in for sure. It'll depend kind of individual circumstances and where they're at. Sitting here today, I feel most confident that Chirinos will be in that category. But we'll see. I think one of the things with Willie is like he could probably get out there and give you a good at bat. It's just the concern is does he put himself at risk coming out of the box or running the bases or something like that? Where it's just the adrenaline going and wanting to compete. And not allow himself to kind of protect that muscle.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. JD, continue.
Yeah, actually, just really one more thing, more just a housekeeping. We've got a number of guys with out clauses here at the end of the week, and we're looking at. So we've got those decisions to make. I don't have any announcements there yet. We've got to make those decisions, communicate with the players. I think we're looking at after that Sunday workout, that day game. We'll kind of clear out of the visiting clubhouse at that point. We will move those players. We'll have a group of players that'll move across the street to Globe Life Park starting on Monday. And we'll start, at the alternate site. We'll begin their training there. They can actually still come back across the street. We'll kind of to actually participate in games and workouts here, but we'll move that locker there. We've got some things that we've got to get done in the clubhouse that we'll take care of Sunday night and on Monday on the 20th, and then do a full cleaning and get it ready for the Rockies to come in here. For the exhibition series and then obviously our opening series. So just from a timing standpoint, that's kind of what we've got administratively. We've got to make some of our roster decisions, and then we will kind of take that group out of the visiting clubhouse, and some of those guys that are in the auxiliary clubhouse as well will move across to Globe Life Park. Those that are still in competition to make the club will stay here at Globe Life Field, probably in the auxiliary clubhouse, and then after that, we'll get the visiting clubhouse ready for Colorado.
Okay, questions? Chris?
JD, what day do you have to make a decision by on the guys who have outs in their contract?
The 18th. The 18th is the date, pretty much across the board for the league. There's a few different variations of the types of outs that there are. But the 18th is the most relevant date for all of them.
What else? TR?
John, who has outs in their contract for this week?
Yeah, we've got. I'm not sure I have the full list from. It's Cody Allen. His actually is more of a handshake than an actual out, but we've agreed to honor that. Volquez, Law, Garcia, Jabot, Greg Bird, Swihart, Fedorovich, and Rob Refsnyder, I believe, is the list.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Evan?
John, from a roster standpoint, a guy who's on the major league roster would have to be officially optioned to Nashville. He's not on the big league roster, correct?
Yeah, there actually is no Nashville this year, so it just option to the alternate site is what they're terming it. But yes,
that counts as an option, right?
yes, for the purposes of like whether that they have an option left or if it'll count for this year. Yes.
And then these guys that you just mentioned, the guys who have outs, let's say you inform those guys or some of those guys that they won't make the club, but you'd like to keep them on your alternate roster. do you still have to run them through waivers, or can they just accept a spot on the alternate roster?
Yeah, they're not on the 40, so that they wouldn't have to do waivers. They could just accept that in most cases. There's one or two variations, but for the most part, they could just agree to stay if they choose to.
And there's nobody that you've already made those kinds of arrangements with, is there?
No, we haven't communicated with any. We haven't made the roster decisions yet, given just the short nature of camp.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff?
Okay, if any of that group leaves, takes the out, can you replace them?
Yes, you can replace them on the 60-man pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Would you? You guys are at 58?
Yeah, I don't know that we would replace everybody. Depends on what the numbers are, but we've got a few players that we're interested in bringing in that we've waited to see how things play out here. Just not knowing, you don't know how many guys are going to make the club. Obviously, for every one of these players that makes the team, we'll have to have a 40-man spot available, so that there could be some effect there as well. I also, coming into this, was not sure on, and I'm still not sure what the COVID testing would dictate, right, as far as how many positives, and that may open up spots. Not that you want that to, but that could be a consequence of that. So we held off on some of our other prospects for that reason. And there's some upper level players, naming some upper level pitchers that we might bring in, even before some of the more long term prospects.
You had mentioned Kyle Cody, right? Yeah, right when the season ended in late June.
Yeah.
Is that progressing, or is he part of that?
Yeah, he's kind of put him in that group, even though he hasn't pitched at the upper levels. I put him in that group of upper level pitchers. He's obviously on the 40-man. He threw another live BP session today out in Arizona. Got good reviews. We'll make sure he's doing well, but he would be right towards the top of that list of the next group to come in.
Okay. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? All good? Okay,
Leave-
thank you.
yeah.
I'm trying to get Trevino in here about,
You got Levi and Evan.
oh, sorry. Levi, you got a question?
Yeah, thanks, John. You're gonna really love that you called attention to me after you hear the question. I know you don't often talk about free agents, and I don't expect to hear any names, but as some of these guys maybe opt out, are you also still considering, guys from outside the organization at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think if there is if there are opportunities to upgrade our roster, we would look at that. But my expectation is it'll probably be a similar group of players. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if there are a lot of these players are going to opt out and switch clubs or not many. It's I haven't had those conversations with agents at this point to really try to anticipate what's going to happen. But we'll definitely pay attention.
Thanks.
Evan, you have a question?
I do. Actually, I do. Yes. John, what is your opinion on kind of how Jose Trevino fits on this roster? He does.
Yeah, he's played really, really well. I mean, there's a few of these young players with some big league time that have looked to have really taken a step. Trevino, Kiner, Jonathan Hernandez, amongst others. They had good winters. They had good spring trainings before we got broken up, and they've come in here and don't seem to have missed a beat. Jose is one of these guys that like everybody seems to have the same reaction. There's some really good pitchers that live here locally that have thrown to him in different winters that you end up getting feedback that they love throwing to him. Or I think he's developed a lot of trust with our veteran pitchers. He's made strides offensively. He's always carried himself with, kind of leadership and confidence that are, probably above where you might expect from his age and experience level. And yeah, he's put himself in a good spot. I mean, I think starting with 30 at the beginning of the year, and he's, even before Robbie rolled his ankle the other night, we were thinking about starting with 3 catchers. Probably, even more so, it reinforces that. But Jose's in a good spot.